go. Here we go. Here we go. Welcome in. Welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast. So, as we talked about on the last episode, y'all already know football is in the air. And joining me today, I have former Florida Gator and Tennessee Titan, OJ Small. What's going on, OJ? Thanks for joining us on the show today.
Oh, man, it's all good, man. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. So let's get right to it. You know, as I said, football's in the air, and obviously you've been through this thing on every level from Pee Wee to the NFL, and then you coached for a number of years on the high school level. Tell me, when this time of year starts coming around and training camps are starting up and two-a-days in high school and all that, does it get your juices flowing? Do you miss any of it? What does it make you think about?
Definitely, man. This time I always got your juices flowing. You know, as far as a player, for sure. You know, I'm looking forward to a season. Trying to achieve goals, trying to go out there. Just hey, prime time football. You know, playing that in a swamp in the SEC back then. As a coach, it's a whole different level. You know, getting the kids ready, trying to make sure they energy is flowing as well, man. Make sure we have a sharp season. Get after it, compete, have fun with it. I always told them this last chance of really playing just a game that you love, that, it just is free to go out there and just do what you want, just have fun with it.
Right. And what do you remember most from being a player about this time of year? What sticks out to you from your time playing the game around this time?
Let me see. This time, like I say, just being around my teammates, man, doing extra things on my own, getting with the quarterbacks or whatnot on the off season. Like I say, it's leadership led at that level, during the summers or whatnot. Like I say, just getting ready. Like I say, I played early in my career. I was blessed to play early, and like I say, just this getting your body in shape, transitioning your body as well. That's that season. I remember, just trying to make sure you're in the tip-top shape. They say in the swamp, it got 108 degrees down there some days. Every game feel like it's below 100, above 100 rather. And just getting ready to go out there and compete, man, play some great football.
So when you were at Florida, you played for the old ball coach, Steve Spurrier, or did you just miss him?
No, I played with his there for my redshirt year, my redshirt freshman year. So
okay.
I got 2 years to be up on his coaching.
So what was it like playing in the fun and gun? I would assume that being a wide receiver in that system is a dream come true. What was it like playing under him?
Oh, man, he's an offensive genius, I always say, man. He was able to draw plays up in the dirt sometimes. He can adjust to any defense, like, no, for real. Okay. I seen him do this. I'm like, yeah, it works. Just, playing up under him, he taught a mindset, especially with the quarterbacks, man. And I played with some trigger happy quarterbacks back then. It was fun up on the Spurrier, man. I was with Rex Grossman when Spurrier.
I thought so.
Yeah, but
he was letting it go.
Played with Jess Palmer. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. So I remember those times. But he didn't mind to try the tightest spot. He's gonna throw. He's a gunslinger. So.
Okay.
But yeah, so I just remember, you're playing up in that system. It was definitely fun. You had receivers running wide open all the time.
Okay. You still keep in touch with any of those guys from your Gator days?
Yeah, I still keep in contact with quite a few of them, man. For sure. Just I still talk to them.
That's good stuff. So tell me, what was your first what was your first camp like, going from obviously high school and then to, the big time, the SEC, which we know is a pressure cooker when it comes to football. They invest in it heavily. They believe in it. It's life down here. And just for my listeners and my viewers, if you're not from the South, I don't think you truly understand. Like, you hear the whole, it just means more. And y'all know I'm not an SEC guy. I'm not from here, but it really does just mean more down here. It's crazy. So yeah, OJ, tell me, what was your first camp like at Florida?
Going from high school to college is a big adjustment for me, man. Honestly, I would say going from playing quarterback. So I went from playing quarterback to playing receiver. Actually, I caught on pretty fast. I remember working out with my older brothers, before I reported in, and just doing stuff over the years with them, but especially before I reported in at Florida, doing different drills, wide receiver drills and things of that nature. it was different. Like say playing an entire different role.
Mm-hmm.
But my first time, say running the route and a ball coming, they say it's just how fast it got up on you. Yeah. I would say the speed of the game.
Uh-huh.
Speed of the game. You know, I remember the first scrimmage we had against the defense at that level. I'm like, it was just you can see a big difference from high school to college, especially in a different role.
Okay. Were you recruited to play quarterback at any other schools?
Yes, I was. I was recruited to play at Iowa, Georgia Tech, Georgia Southern. Yeah, I would say, I had some decent schools that recruited me back then, man. Syracuse, I actually committed to Syracuse at first, but they had a running back there at the time. I want to say D Brown, I want to say his name was, but he played running back and quarterback. So they was going to bring me there to play, receiver and have packages as a quarterback as well. But I did have some schools recruit me at quarterback. I tell kids all the time, I got kids, schools, recruited me as safety and linebacker. I'm like, they never saw me play down at that. I'm like, okay, but that's how it was. Recruiting was back then. So they just saw something in the athlete, and
What made you choose Florida? Close to home,
right around the corner, playing in the swamp. I mean, my situation is different. I tell people all the time, I didn't grow up a fan of anybody per se. I grew up just a fan of players.
Okay.
I say my oldest brother played at Ole Miss. My middle brother played at Georgia.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, we always just active.
Football family.
So, so we're an SEC family. I got my youngest nephew plays running back right now for University of Tennessee. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
SEC family. So,
I hear you. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Don't worry about it. We're going to get to that. All right. So, obviously, you had a good career at Florida, because if you didn't, you wouldn't have had an opportunity at the NFL. So then you moved on, Tennessee Titans. Tell me what that was like.
That was a great experience, man. Like I said, to live out your dream. I get the opportunity to experience your dream. I wasn't there for long or whatnot, but I was able to be there for 2 camps. So played a full year or whatnot. Different experience, man. It was just like I saw some hellified talent. Then I saw some like, okay, this guy made it. Okay, it's like you have those experiences like for real, but. Just like say from college to the NFL, once again, I saw a change in speed of the game. You saw you saw some grown men out there, people who smart, football savvy. I say they're professionals for a reason, But just to experience it, man. I remember the first time running out the tunnel, for a preseason game there, man. It's just crazy. Just having that experience or whatnot. Got a chance to play with Stephen there, Billy Bull, this young, quite a few players up there. Pat-Man Jones. It's just nice meeting those guys, getting experience right there at that age for sure. It's a blessing. I say, just the short stint I did have, definitely.
So you've mentioned speed of the game a few times here. So for those of us, again, who haven't played, myself, and I'm sure the vast majority of my listeners and viewers, tell us exactly what that means when you say speed of the game. How can you explain that to someone that's never put the cleats on and doesn't have an idea what that means?
Let me see. If you could break it down, the more you understand something, the better, the faster you can be able to do it. From high school, I always try to keep things simple, because to teach a kid to play at full speed is hard. That means it's coming natural. You're not thinking about it. The more you think about it, the slower you're going. So every level, if you have stuff that just happened naturally, and you got the best talent, the biggest, or the fastest speed, the biggest size, the strength, all that right there, and they're moving or anticipating. Once you get so far, they're anticipating and reading the keys and all the small details to see, hey, I know that this is that. You know what I'm saying? What the defender is doing or what the offensive person doing. Like if a linebacker got to read the keys of an old lineman, where they have their hand down, or they got weight on their hand, whatever it be, or whatever the little keys they got to look at. Whether the receiver's seeing, what the linebacker's dropping or what the safety moving. It's like people are moving. You can't, and you got to respond. There's a lot of responses, responding within a single play. So it gets very complicated like that, because you're reading on the run, but it got to come naturally, and you got to do it on the go. You ain't got no time to think about it.
Right. So it's learning the game and being able to combine that with the physical aspect to where it happens instinctively. Am I getting that right?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. There you go.
Awesome. All right. So after your time in the NFL and you came back home to Florida, you became a high school coach. That's where we first met. I covered some of your games. I was lucky enough to be able to do that. Always gracious to me afterwards on the field. That was cool. I definitely appreciate it. Tell me, what was your philosophy as a coach? You're an offensive guy, you're a defensive guy. I know you're a wide receiver, but what was your philosophy as a head coach?
I was offensive guy for sure, man. I taught mentality to the kids and the attitude and try to teach them what passion was. Like I say, when we first started off, we wasn't necessarily the most athletic and the fastest, our biggest. So I always taught the hard work. So we're gonna preach hard work. We're gonna preach consistency, and just going full speed all the time. Just being able to understand, teaching them the actual game, teaching them the fundamentals, things of that nature, man. And we play with energy or whatnot. So just to get the kids to buy in. As a head coach was a challenge, just especially being young and taking over. But once they start, that first couple of years, the ones that stuck around, they took some beatings, but they realized, they started working. They started getting after it, man, and they bought into what the coaches was preaching, and we was able to have that success. Yeah.
Do you have any coaches that you modeled yourself after, stylistically or schematically?
I brought a spurious system to it. I just had to dumb it down name wise. The playbook.
Right. Yeah.
It was spurious system.
Okay.
Playing up under Fedora, and just over time, I say, I love how Jeff Fisher was just experienced. To play for a coach who actually played the game.
Mm-hmm.
You could sense that, and you could sense that they know when to push versus when they know when to pull up type situations.
Okay.
I try to always stay in tune. I always got that from Jeff. I love that about him, man. I would say just going to different clinics, just the organization, the way Nick Saban runs his program or whatnot, everything you want to model take some things from there. We got a chance to go out there, visit him and his campus a couple of times, man. Just take a little bit from everybody, honestly. Mm-hmm. And I try to make it mine and teach an attitude with the kids. I'm not gonna simply say it's just one coach per se. Nah, this is what I've experienced. This is how I what I saw, how I was coached, and this is what these coaches do. Put me in those type of situations, and that's pretty much what yeah. And I work well with my coaching staff.
Okay. So I've listened to a lot of players talk about the game of football, whether former college, former pro. I've listened to a lot of coaches today. As a matter of fact, I just listened to a podcast and Marvin Lewis was talking. So with that, I've heard differing perspectives, and tell me what you think. I've heard some say the game of football is extremely complex, especially in the modern era at the highest level, which is the NFL. I've also heard that the game of football is very simple, right? Tackling, blocking. If you maintain the fundamentals, you will have success. And so when I look at it, a lot of times I see a lot of crazy stuff going on, and it's exciting for the fans and all that. But for me personally, and probably because I came up in an earlier era, I have a very simple philosophy that when I talk football on this podcast, I say over and over again, run the ball, stop the run. To me, it seems that simple. You can have a great deal of success in the game of football if you can do those two things. Now, I know you're a receiver coach, but tell me, what do you think of that? I feel like those are some basic football tenets that'll allow you to be successful. Run the ball, stop the run. Where are you on that?
I mean, you definitely got to be able to stop the run. You got to be able to stop the run. At the end of the day, to make a pass to a receiver, they could drop it or be a bad throw, whatever it be. But if the game is won in the trenches, I would say, mm-hmm. That's so. Like I say, you got to be able to run the ball, you got to be able to stop the run. But because it doesn't have to be a high scoring game in order to win. But if you could control the ball, clock, hell, you can win 2-0, 3-0, however it may be, as long as it's, it just controlling the trenches at the end of the day. Now, you say, one is going to always open up the other. I played it, I coached it, one is going to open up the other. So tomato,
right.
End of the day, big time game, you got to, wear the other team down. You want to be able to run the ball. You know what I'm saying? But like you say, because like I say, keep that clock rolling, to get that defense tired and just keep smash my football. It's games like that. Like I said, I'm a passing person. We probably pass 60% of the time. Okay. So it just, but it was some games where we had to do run heavy as well. That was what was working for us. So take what the defense give you. At the end of the day, and, they're gonna be wrong either or. You got to put them in bad positions. So yeah.
So do you believe that you can still win big being run heavy? And I bring that up because on the pro level, you see teams like the 49ers who they have a complex run game and an outstanding scheme. Coach Kyle Shanahan. They run it a lot down your throat if you let them. They don't throw it that much. They haven't for a while had elite quarterback play. You look at the Colts with Jonathan Taylor, using him as a workhorse. You look at your Titans, Derrick Henry. When the Seahawks won the championship in 2014, 2013, but when the Seahawks won the championship, they won it not on Russell Wilson's arm or Marshawn Lynch's legs, right? Yeah. So I look at it and I say, I'm not sure why people are acting like this is such a difficult concept. If you can pound the rock, that even makes it easier on your quarterback, and you don't necessarily have to have an elite quarterback. Now, having an elite quarterback is obviously a wonderful thing. Yes.
Yes.
But if you could run it, Baltimore, on the collegiate side, even you look at Alabama with all these explosive receivers, but when you get down to it, Saban want to punch you in the face and run that ball down your throat. The last year's national champions, Georgia, Ohio State, all that wide receiver talent, but they can always run the ball. So, I know it's not sexy and I know it's not exciting, but to me, it seems to work. And I'm wondering why so many offensive coaches are trying to reinvent the wheel instead of doing what wins.
Well, everybody's system is different. They're not necessarily reinventing the wheel. Like I said, if you have that type of quarterback who could lead you all the way down the field because he's an elite quarterback, you know what I'm saying? So it gives you that bonus. But to have those workhorses, like I say, you never can downplay, like I say, the run game. You got, if you establish that ground, like I said, that's the trenches. And there's nothing like getting the ball ran down your throat like that. Each and every play, have that boom, boom, boom. And you have a quarterback, like I say, he doesn't have to be the elite level at per se, but he could just manage a game. You should be able to coach that team. The coach is doing a good job by putting them in. It's a coach's job to put the players in the best position. So if that's by having that quarterback, manage the game and have dinks in there, what it may be, you take your chances when it says it's time to take a chance, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, the run game is where it's at. Like I say, so for sure, if you can run the ball by all means, and you could pop them here or there and catch them off guard, because like I say, San Fran, they had Debo Samuel, he was elite with the ball in his hand. So you have playmakers that can help open up the run, and that run gonna help open up the playmakers because they got to respect the run game. So it works hand in hand with just like I say, from playing both positions, from also being at the coaching side of it and playing side of it. As a receiver, we got that running the whole day. It's not the fun, but sometimes it is. Like, I was a good blocker, so okay. At the same time, I like the ball. So, as a coach, you want to be able to control that clock. You want to be able to make the defense tired, get them gas, get them win, get them making that, biting up. So as soon as they bite up, now you're over the top.
Right.
So
absolutely.
It works together, man. It works together.
I mean, I love it. Again, you can tell I'm kind of old school in my football views. I mean, I watched Wisconsin maybe last year before. They're playing the game. Can't remember against who, and they literally ran the ball 22 straight times. And I'm like, ooh, and I love it. You
And when
know?
the coach was calling the play, I'm sure he was like, "We're gonna keep," he was doing that with the ego with some pride, because he
Yes.
can do it, and the defense can't do nothing to stop it. So
Right.
yes, if it's working like that, there it is. Why? Well, it's football is simple. You keep it simple. We're gonna do what works.
Yes, sir. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about something that'll really get you going. What are your thoughts on the wide receiver position today, especially in college and the NFL? And the reason I bring that up is you're seeing wide receivers walking out of college, walking into the NFL, and having immediate high-level success. You're Justin Jeffersons, you're obviously Jamar Chases, other guys. I'm sure we'll see Garrett Wilson from Ohio State with the Jets this year. If they have any sort of competent offense, he's going to get busy. You're going to see Olave down in New Orleans. I mean, these guys, the higher end receivers, are walking into the NFL more than ever before and getting busy. What do you attribute that to? And what are your thoughts on these wide receivers?
I mean, it's a different era. Like I say, these kids, man, or these young men, the way they train, the things that they've been able to grow up with, with all the 7-on-7s, the extra work that they get, and for the ones who had the mindset to really put forth that effort they need to put forth, it shows. That's hard work paying off. In the end of the day, so like this is a goal, a dream for all these, people playing the game. And, to have a freakish talent with the right mindset and the right drive. Yeah. I mean, it's elite. They're elite. That's why I say they were high picks. It was high draft picks for a reason. They're elite. And these kids, I mean, these young men, rather, they out there with the mindset. Like I say, it's such a different mindset at that level. How people, I'm not gonna say all, but for the majority, how they train out to, like I said, this is how they feed their families. This is these are dreams coming true, and you're getting paid to do something that you love. So it's like they the elite athletes in the world, basically. So. And to have that type of athleticism and that drive and the mindset, and a lot of the same mindsets around you, all you're gonna do is push you. And those, the ones who take advantage of it, like you say, that's why they get paid for it.
Right. So let me ask you this: you and I are roughly about the same generation. What do you think? You mentioned the training and the stuff what is so different that they're doing now? That's making them come in more ready. Are there new drills that people have invented? Are there new training methods? Obviously, there's scientific advances in training and rest and nutrition and sports science and all that. But what's so different from when you were coming up and coming into the league than these players are doing now?
The amount of camps, the amount of 7-on-7s.
Okay.
The parents with the means to do, get the private trainers and put that money, invest the money. That's a different mindset where, my parent generation versus the new kids or these young men now parents, it's a way different generation who's raising those kids. And, to do, to have private workouts or, extra stuff, on top of what they're doing at their schools and on their own or whatever it may be, it's like, they repetition experience, and for the ones who actually have the right mindset and they buy in at a younger age, those are the ones who blossom faster, so, and having a parent who's going to be, or who's in position to support you like that, that's a blessing right there. It's a blessing by all means. It's just a different age, man, different age. Like I say, you got social media, you got different ways to look up different drills. It's according to how hungry that person is. And look on YouTube, go to somebody, follow somebody on some type of social media platform, it's there. You can see it. So now somebody got the right mindset and they get a hold of that knowledge. I hope they do excel and put themselves, ahead of the 8 ball, per se.
Got it. Okay. So here's a question. This is something I've always thought about. You are seeing quarterbacks and receivers today put up numbers that are like no numbers that we've ever seen in previous generations of the game of football. How much of that is the skills the training that you just mentioned and talk to us about, and how much of that is the rules, being you can't hit quarterbacks like you used to, you can't hit receivers like you used to. Now they have the defenseless receiver rule, which, listen, I know you love that as a receiver, but I'm looking at it like, are you supposed to let him catch it and start running before you try to hit him? Like,
and
you can't hit him to dislodge the ball anymore. I'm a Ravens fan, so I used to love watching Ray Lewis come across and take souls. You know what I mean?
And that plays a big part in it, man. It's a different game. It's like I said, it's a different era. It's a different era. We got to accept that for the way the game is played, the way it's coached, the way the kids are brought up, what the kids are able to put in their body and look up. It's just a different age. I say, yeah, that means a lot to a receiver mentally, knowing that they're going across the middle and someone can't just run through them. Now, if they don't care about getting a flag, that will happen. But nowadays, the head it doesn't have to be as much on a swivel as it did a long time ago, although it's naturally going to happen. But they know, the receiver's going to know. And, like say, even 7-on-7, it gives that false that false sense of football, because as far as not being hit, so but the quarterbacks, they say that's a whole nother thing right there. It's a different game. It's a different game, I will say, but hey, we got to accept it for what it is. Because it's going to continue to keep going.
So I know you had your time, but you ever look at the game now and wish, like, man, I wish I could be playing now. I'd be killing the way the game is now. You ever think about that?
No, I don't. Not at this age, for sure. Maybe when I was younger, possibly. But nah, it's a different game. Like I say, knowing what I know now, of course, I know what I knew some years ago before I gave it up. Of course, but that's life. I enjoyed it. My time came. I took made the most of it. I enjoyed it while it lasted. I was able, to live out my dream for a little bit. To experience it. I was able to, to coach, some young men. Who's at the next chapters in their lives as well. It's just, everything's meant to be, man. But yeah, I watch football. I don't follow it as much as I used to, for sure. But yeah, it's something that opened up plenty of doors for me, and and it also showed me another side of life.
Nice. Okay, so let's take it back to college football a little bit. Big story now in college football, obviously, two things: NIL and the transfer portal. NIL's name, image, and likeness. For those who don't know, that allows players to now be compensated for use of their name, image, and likeness. But that's kind of gone off the rails. Basically, teams are pretty much just buying players now. So what are your thoughts on NIL? And again, do you wish that you'd come up in this era so you could get compensated? And tell us, Coach, you ever got any $100 handshakes during your recruiting days or while you were playing?
Nah, what are you talking about?
Come on, we hear all the stories, especially about the SEC now. Come on.
It's all stories, man. Don't believe nothing you hear, only half of what you see, all right? But for sure. I would have loved to be in this era back then when I was playing, man, with the NIL for sure, man. Especially with the mindset, and just like your backing. That's a scary thing, man. I hope they teach your kids. As far as receiving those money, that type of money, on how to manage it and things of that nature. But it's a different age, different era. I knew it was going to happen. I knew it should have happened. For sure. I always knew it was going to happen eventually. But how they do it, like you say, that just figuring out the right way. What is the right way? To do it. Because every conference is going to sit at a disadvantage. Everybody, every level is different levels, everything. But like I say, my biggest thing for the kids, man, like I say, for the ones who are blessed to get those NIL deals, is just make sure they're smart with it and hope they enlighten the kids, the young men rather, on the responsibility of it. It just, where is that going to lead to? Because, like I say, because some of them are going to make some big money in college.
Yes.
And everybody's not going to make it to the NFL,
Right.
So for them to understand how that, life ain't going to be always that grand or that easy, or, not saying it was easy to get it then, but yeah, it just, it's a whole bunch of shenanigans that it is going to open up, and yeah, it's going to change. It's going to continue to grow.
Right. So it's just so funny that, this is such a big deal when we know that most of the big time programs, been doing this under the table anyway. And, you hear a lot of guys in the pros, they talk about, they may not be naming names of particular schools, but they talk about it. And it's definitely interesting. And I am anxious to see where it goes and how it all ends up, because I think it was like written into the rules that you're not supposed to be able to use NIL to induce a recruit to come to your school or induce them into the transfer portal. But we know that's happening. They straight buying dudes up.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be shocked.
Right, I'm sure you wouldn't.
Yeah, wouldn't be shocked. So yeah,
right.
So, that's a whole nother thing. Transfer portal, man. That's changed the game for real. For real.
It really has.
The game, man. Just this past year, they say talking to some of the coaches who came in recruiting just over the phone. Some schools not even recruiting high school kids. They just signing everybody out, out of transfer portal. But it's not always good for every kid, because it's a lot of kids getting stuck in it.
Yeah.
So it's changing the game, good and bad. It's just shifting everything. It's a new era. A new time, and they say just for high school kids, a lot of them are getting looked over because of it. So it's eliminating opportunities for the high school kids for sure. So, but
yeah, I never looked at it from that side of it. I always looked at it like my first thought on it was, a coach can recruit a kid. Hey, I'm sitting in the living room. I'm going to be there for your son, sir and ma'am. And, I'm going to take care of him. And then by the time the season starts, they got a better job somewhere else. They out. Yeah. And now that kid doesn't know if his spot's going to be secure on that roster. The new coach and the new regime may bring in somebody that fits their system better. And now they out in the cold. So I definitely looked at it like the transfer portal can be a good thing. But at the same time, it's like, you always hear how football is a game that teaches young men how to deal with adversity. It teaches them how to compete. It teaches them how to fight through tough situations. But then you wonder, okay, I got benched or I didn't win the spot, so I'm just going to transfer. It's like, are you learning how to fight through adversity? Are you learning how to compete? Or are you just running when it gets tough? So I can see both sides of the transfer portal argument.
It's definitely two sides to that right there, man. Like I say, I always tell the kids don't go to a school because of the coach. Like I say, coaches move. They get hired, promotions, they get fired sometimes. So don't go to that school because of coach. But like you say, that transfer portal open up for those kids who do, like you say, I'm not playing as fast as I should be playing, because at the end of the day, it's not the coach per se. They may have recruited them, but a lot of the coaches who recruit you don't even coach your position anyways. So, but if it is your position coach, at the end of the day is for the kids, you made a comment, I might say, as far as, today's kid, where they look at it as, all right, that's a chance. Let me run away, or let me step up and fight through and earn this spot. Like I say, back in the day, we didn't have it. You still had transferring going on, but it wasn't as open. So, it didn't encourage kids to transfer. Now the transfer portal encourages, because some people go in, some people come out, but every recruit was different coming out of high school. Right. So the elite ones, they may come out with ease. Some of them have to sit. Some of them wasn't as highly recruited as they thought when they transfer in, and then they get stuck. So it's just a risk, man. But I think it opens up to that more so. Hey, each situation will be different. But like I say, right. I think it does give that out for the kid who's not playing as fast as they hope. Or hey, the coach don't like, it's not that. Yeah, just right. Fight through it. Right. Fight through the adversity.
Got you. So I know you're an SEC guy, but let me ask you real quick about Ohio State. And again, I'm going to your wheelhouse here. How do they keep getting these ridiculous wide receiver rooms? I mean, it's like every year they're getting, the top 2 or 3 prospects at that position. Now they got Julian Fleming. You got Jackson Smith and Jigba, who just set the Rose Bowl receiving record coming back. You got Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, they have a bunch of freaks at that X and that Y, like, and in that slot, they are out there doing it. And what do you think about them? And what do you think of Brian Hartline is a receiver coach?
Oh man, you know what I'm saying? Put me on that spot, huh? I'm about to say, nah, just the ones who before you set a bar, and that right there helps with recruiting itself. It's certain positions. Each school may, one school may be known for the DBs, one school may be known for the linebackers, whatever it may be. And like Ohio State is one of those rooms, that's known for the receiver room. Alabama is one of those rooms. So it's more so when you get there, that bar is so high. And like I say, you're in a room of like-minded individuals. And like I say, once you use competition as a good thing to make yourself get yourself better, push each other, help each other get better. And that's what they do. Iron sharpens iron. And you're able to play with them. That mentality rubs off. That work ethic rubs off. Like I say, you have good cancer and bad cancer. Hey, that's one of those good cancers that you want. Well, people are gonna come in and they're gonna put in the work and put in the time and have an attitude and a certain swag about themselves. Hey, this room, that's what happens when you go to those type of schools, man, for that position. Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this. You're seeing tight ends now in the modern game playing more and more like wide receivers, just like big wideouts. Obviously, it started with a guy like Shannon Sharp, but it's just continued to evolve that position. How do you think these tight ends at this size, where are they getting the skill set to be able to play almost like wide receivers in bigger bodies? What do you think of that, and how do you think it's happening?
Oh man, that I'm a receiver mentality, but like I said, it just got big. Some of them embrace it, some of them have that goal, someone was put there, as far as by their coaching or whatnot. I know around my time we had the Ben Troop, the Kellen Winslow's, those type of players that when it's really Jeremy Shock, all those guys start evolving the game. Yeah, Antonio Gates, so you start seeing the evolution. I think, back then, because that's around my time, and you just saw that shift. And like I say, once you get to these levels, these colleges, these some of the fastest athletes nowadays, some of the tallest, some of the most strongest, some of the most athletic, and you just, like I say, yeah, somebody a receiver skill set, but they're big enough and strong enough to play that tight end role, and people are embracing it because it's becoming a cool position. Hey, that's that is a cool position. You can flex me out. I can run a fade on somebody for real. That's what Yeah, those tight ends want that. Yeah. So
got you. What are some of the big storylines that you're looking forward to seeing in the NFL this season, and what teams do you watch? I'll assume you still watch the Titans when you're watching the NFL, but what other teams do you watch and pay attention to, and what are you looking to see this season?
Oh man, I watched Tampa Bay. I watched the Jaguars, of course. Yeah, let's say I watched my home team game. As far as Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
I definitely watch the Bengals. I like the Bengals out there, man. I just follow the game, man. Like I said, I just follow the game, and I like to watch the competition and the guys flying around, man. Like I say, just competing and a good game. That's all I ask for. Like I say, just playing it, just coaching it, just sit back and watch a good game. I don't like to see blowouts. Right. It's more so I want to see back and forth type. Because it just brings something to me while watching it.
So fan is short for fanatic. I'm a football fan, and I know some of these games I'm watching, and it's got my blood boiling. It's got me jumping around and screaming and yelling. And my wife is like, "Hey, what you're making all that noise?" And I'm excited, but for a guy like you who's been there, literally been in the middle of it, when you watch a game like, say, the divisional last year in the playoffs between Kansas City and Buffalo, one of the best games I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
What does that do for you? How excited do you get when you're watching a game like that?
I might say, man, it is exciting to watch it. I can see the emotions and the attitudes coming out. I can see it, and I can remember those feelings and whatnot. Makes me laugh sometimes. That day, I know that feeling right there. Type situations, man. But yeah, it just like I say, it's just fun to watch. To watch. Just seeing the game. In a slow motion type. While watching on TV, I've been able to watch like, ooh, look at this movie. Just yeah.
Right.
Yeah, just I used to stop and record some things and send it to the players with check this out,
Okay.
Just little things, just it's the little things, man. But more so, it's fun to watch the attitudes and the swag come out because you can see it, you feel it, yeah.
Okay. Real quick, how are you feeling about Billy Napier and your Gators, and what do you think about the future with him as the head coach?
Oh man, I like what he's doing, man. He's got to just get the kids to buy in. He's gonna let the kids know. I see he had to, just for some kids as well. They got to buy into him at the end of the day. Cause they're gonna get talent. The kids, just humbling themselves, giving this guy a chance. He had some good recruits, but he also had a lot of good, walk-ons, preferred walk-ons as well. So I think he's going to bring that competitive edge as well. Go earn this. Versus, all right, yeah, like I said, we talked about people just transferring because they don't get that chance. No, go compete and earn it.
Yeah.
And bring in some athletes who are hungry to earn that scholarship. Hungry to get on the field, hungry to get that opportunity, and just to push the teammate, push the players to get better. He's gonna get it. He's gonna get it to come around. Got to give him some time.
Yeah.
That's one thing. The Gators got to realize, he got to be able to implement his system and his mindset and his philosophies and things of that nature. So yeah.
I think he's really gonna have to put in that work on the recruiting trail, because I tell you, those two guys down south, you got Mario Cristobal down at the U, and you got Gus Malzahn at UCF, and those guys are really gonna be battling for the recruits in South Florida. And Cristobal, he's a Cane, so he's gonna try to lock that thing down. Think about how much talent Miami lost over the years, letting all those guys from their own backyard get out and end up at Alabama and Georgia and Clemson and all these other schools. So I'm pretty sure that's one of his first priorities, is locking that area back down.
Yeah, I'm sure, man. Definitely. So he definitely got to get that recruiting thing going, but he'll be fine. Give him some time.
Got you. So my last question before I let you get out of here is, who's the best wide receiver in the NFL right now, and why? Or not even who's the best, who's your favorite guy to watch? Let's try that.
I'm about to say I like watching the guy from Cincinnati, man, Jamar Chase. Like I say, he's exciting, he's fun, he make big plays, he make the tough catch. He can do it from every angle, man. Like I say, I like his game right now, and I can see, his mindset, I can see that hunger, that dog come out when he playing. He gets after it for sure. I'll say he's one of the most exciting receivers right now.
What separates him from his LSU teammate Justin Jefferson up in Minnesota? I mean, Justin Jefferson, he came in, he said that.
Plays for sure. Jefferson making play. He's a beast with it for sure.
Yes.
Both like I say, LSU's receiver room. Yeah, I like Justin Jefferson for sure, man. But that Chase is he's more
different animal.
He's a walking playmaker, highlight machine, man. For real. He gets it. Yeah, he definitely gets it.
All right, well, there it is. Hey, listen, OJ, thank you so much for taking the time out to join the Format Podcast. I appreciate it. Thank you for lending your experience, your expertise. Love hearing it. Always love to talk to somebody who's been in there and been in the huddle and in the locker rooms that could really give us that type of perspective on it. I definitely appreciate that. And I was actually supposed to have your old high school teammate Mike Jennings on tonight. He couldn't make it. His son had a football camp tonight. But we're gonna do this again. We're gonna get him on, and we're all gonna have a good time. So I'm gonna have my two professional wide receivers come on and talk with me.
There it is. Appreciate you having me, man. I enjoyed it.
All right, Coach. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
That's it for this episode of the Format Podcast. Awesome time talking with OJ Small. But you know what time it is now. If you haven't already and you're on YouTube, go ahead, click that subscribe button in the lower right corner of your screen. Also, click that like if you enjoyed the content, and click that notification bell so you know when new episodes come out. Also, you know where to get me on social media if you're on there. Email address, Instagram handle, and Twitter, all at the bottom of the screen. They've been there the whole episode. So you want to reach out, tell me what you thought, suggest any topics you want me to talk about, tell me I'm an idiot, tell me you love the show. All that's great. Just hit me up. All right. If you want the audio only version of the show, here it is right here on your screen. And if you're just listening to the podcast version, then you know wherever you get your audio only podcast, you can definitely type in the format podcast. We should come right up. If your platform allows it, please go ahead and leave us a comment. Also, leave us a comment on YouTube. And if you can, give us that 5-star review. Helps us rise in the algorithm, helps more people to find us. If you enjoyed the show, please don't keep it to yourself. Go ahead and share it with other people who you know want to hear that good sports talk. All right. So thanks so much. And I'm out. Peace.